afternoon. We are looking forward to this hearing, and I call to order the hearing on oversight of the Library of Congress. I'd like to thank Ranking Member Fisher for her work, as well as the Librarian of Congress, Dr. Carla Hayden, for again appearing before this committee, this time not for confirmation, but for talking about, as you've done in the past, your work. And there's just a lot of interest, as you know from past hearings in this building, about the Library of Congress, especially now that people are going back, and I'm sure you have many visitors to the library again. Several senators, we had a dinner with a bipartisan dinner last night, and a number of senators mentioned that they were fans of you and your work, including people from both sides of the aisle. So just putting that out there first. And I think I've mentioned this before. Maybe Senator Fisher doesn't know, but my dream when I was growing up was to be a librarian. Yes, I actually had a Dewey Decimal System set up with the books that I read in a recipe box. But instead, we are here. We are here, in fact, to discuss the largest library in the world and the oldest federal cultural institution in the United States, the Library of Congress. 2 weeks ago, the library celebrated its 223rd birthday. And as we know, the library holds over 175 million books, manuscripts, and other materials. It has the world's largest collection of films, sheet music, and sound recordings, something I was reminded of very memorably when Joni Mitchell got the Gershwin Award, and Speaker McCarthy and I were there, and several others, and it was an incredible, actually 2 evenings for the dinner and then for the major production afterward with so many great artists. And I want to thank you for having the wisdom to decide to honor Joni Mitchell. And I'm sure it was with the committee, but in the end, Dr. Hayden, you had a major role in making that decision and making that event work for so many people. Dr. Hayden, you and your dedicated staff play a critical role in collecting, preserving, and making this vast collection in the Library of Congress accessible to the American people. And I learned that you've had 370,000 people visit the library last year, and a 75% increase in events from the fiscal year before, while even more Americans accessed your collections online. That's more than 151 million visits online. So I think, I'm sure we'll hear about how the pandemic had its silver lining. Not a lot of good stuff, but at least I'm sure more people started visiting the library online. I mentioned the Joni Mitchell event, but your efforts also included celebrating our culture, including Lizzo, who lived in my state for many, many years. That's where she kind of got her start. And she played the James Madison Crystal Flute at the library last fall. And as we approach the end of the library's 5-year strategic plan and 2019 digital strategy, you have also dedicated significant effort to modernizing the library's technology and infrastructure. I know that we'll want to hear about that. One topic that I look forward to hearing more on is the library's Visitors Experience Master Plan, a multi-year proposal which Congress approved on a significant bipartisan basis in 2019 to improve the visitor experience at the library. The plan includes an orientation gallery to guide visitors through the library, learning resources for younger visitors, and new displays. As the project moves forward, it is essential that it is done, as you and I have discussed, in a way that respects and preserves the library's historic buildings. I know that changes have been made to the plan for the main reading room, including removing the Oculus window from the design, and you are working closely with the acting architect of the Capitol on these efforts, as you note in your testimony. The library also oversees something pretty significant to all of us right now, soon to be even more significant, I believe, with the advent of artificial intelligence, and that is the U.S. Copyright Office, which safeguards the work of artists and creators across the country, critical to the vitality of our economy. According to a study released last year, businesses and artists who rely on copyrights contribute more than $1.8 trillion to our economy. That translates to 8% of total U.S. GDP and 9.6 million jobs. Modernizing the Copyright Office to keep pace with the latest technology and the content that it supports is a priority for our nation, and I appreciate the office's progress in updating its procedures and reducing the average processing time for copyright registrations. Another part of the library that we will hear about is the nonpartisan support provided to members of Congress and staff by the Congressional Research Service, or CRS, which responded to more than 73,000 requests in the last fiscal year from members of Congress, and its impact extends far beyond Congress, with thousands of CRS reports then available to the public. Finally, the National Library Service for the Blind and Print Disabled, as the primary provider of reading material for Americans who cannot read print, helps to ensure that the library's resources are available to everyone. Ensuring access to modern Braille devices has always been one of my top priorities for the library. When I early on got on this committee, started working on that, and I look forward to hearing more on its ongoing work, including providing Braille e-readers and its growing library of nearly 164,000 downloadable Braille and audio reading materials. In the end, the library, I think we know, has this incredible celebrated history, and the work that you are doing, Dr. Hayden, is vital to the success for generations to come, and that obviously includes your team, some of whom are sitting behind you.